wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep. Welcome, world. Welcome, Santa Fe. You're right here on Call to Reason with Loveless and Beth. And we are back here with you for another Sunday of bringing you your alternative to alternate reality. Right here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where it is a beautiful, beautiful, sunny Sunday morning. Just amazing here. And sunny. If you haven't had a chance to get up to the mountain yet here in Santa Fe, there's a little window between now and when all the tourists show up for the Christmas break. And you certainly would want to get up on the slopes before then, because let me tell you something, it's beautiful. We've had more dumps just this week, and very, very, very nice conditions at Santa Fe Ski Basin. Want to welcome everyone. Beth will be joining us here any moment, and we are very, very happy to be here with you today, and we've got a lot to talk about. Folks, the Mueller investigation has gone crazy in the context of what's been happening since the midterm elections have been completed. And more bad news for President Trump. It appears that we've got just this massive amount of new information coming out, and Mueller is not slowing down. Mueller is not slowing down in the least. And it's making Donald Trump apparently so nervous that even here at 8:09 a.m., coming up right up on 8:10 a.m., we are right in the throes of Donald Trump being his most nervous ever. Now, I'm wondering if the 26 degrees here in Santa Fe would feel as cold as he must feel in his isolation as the walls begin to close in on the entire corrupt administration that he's been running. And it's amazing that he hadn't had a heart attack or a stroke, because he does eat McDonald's, 2, 3, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, who knows. What we do know is that the walls are closing in. Most experts are expecting that Donald Trump Jr. will also be indicted in this process. And that's just the tip of the iceberg still we're hearing. It could be, a lot of folks are saying it's even the tip of the glacier. And that's an amazing thing to consider when you think about what's really going on. Beth is going to call in to us here in a second. We're just waiting on her to give us a call. And she's with us on our Instagram feed. So, by the way, folks, if you're watching Call to Reason, if you like listening to the radio but would rather see us do what we do on Sundays, you can certainly tune in to our Facebook page. Go to Call to Reason Reality Talk Radio. You can find us there and watch our Sunday broadcast. You can also do so on Instagram
and Twitter. If you look for at Brother Love, BROTHA Love, you can find an Instagram feed, and Beth and I are there together. We're also on Facebook together, and we are on Instagram together. And you can also watch on YouTube and Twitter as well. So we hope that you will join us on social media also. Folks, I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, I will have Beth with me, and we're going to jump right into it. Again, we've got Mueller investigation, we've got the realities of the trade deficit. The Red Pill Reality Check segment this week is going to be action-packed, folks. So much going on. So much going on that we just, I don't know if Beth and I are even going to have a chance to cover it all this week, but we're excited about attempting to, at least. And if you all stay tuned, we'll make sure we get right at it as soon as we get back on the other side of this break. You're right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. And you're on Call to Reason with Loveless and Beth, and we will be right back.
Oh, and squeeze me tight when the night begins and until the begins. I need your love so bad. I need some lips to feel next to mine. I need someone to stand up and tell me when I'm lying. And when the lights are low and it's time to go, I need your love so bad.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint.
Okay, Beth.
On KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Okay, y'all. Thank you for being here. Beth, can you see me on Facebook? I tagged you. I tagged you, Beth. You're tagged in the Facebook video, so you just go to your. I can't even hear you. I can't hear you. Can you call? Here, let me just call.
That's RICKYALLEN.com. RickyAllen.com. And enjoy living in Santa Fe.
I'm calling you. The Facebook, if you hit the refresh button on your browser, okay, and you're tagged in it. Go to my page. Can you go to my feed? If you go to my Facebook feed, if you go to my timeline, the video is running. It's on my timeline. You don't see my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page.
You know Christus Health as a caring healthcare provider. Now you can be treated with that same level of caring by our Christus Generation Medicare Advantage plan. It delivers comprehensive coverage along with a compassionate network of healthcare providers and medical facilities that are all close to home and that you know you can trust. If you're Medicare eligible, enroll today at 877-244-6022.
My personal Facebook page. You can't go to my personal Facebook page. Okay. All right. If you go to your notifications, I'm going to start sharing it now. So I'll share it to the group first. And let's see. Okay. I just shared it to the group. I just shared it to the page.
State Employees Credit Union.
I just shared it in the group. So it's there. Yep, I'm gonna share it to your timeline too. Okay, now I just shared it to your privacy settings. Post music can't share best post timeline. Okay, what is the privacy setting? Hold on, I must have. Oh, only me. What the fuck? Okay, that's what's wrong. Okay, now you are able to see that. I don't know how the privacy settings somehow got changed. Now it's there for sure. Now it's there for sure. Okay, here we go. I'm sharing it on your timeline as well. And I got you on the phone, so don't worry, you're on the line. Okay? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to Call to Reason, everyone. You're here with Loveless and Beth, and we are having a good time with you. And Beth is going to be joining us. She's here with us now. Hey, Beth. Oh, Beth, are you with us? I think she is with us. All right, y'all. So Beth is putting her headphones in. And, yeah, a lot to talk about today. Starting with, oh, we've lost Beth. So, little technical difficulties this morning, but we are back here. It's 8:19, right here from the studios of Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. We're sitting on 26 degrees here in Santa Fe. Beautiful sunny day, though. On our way to what they're saying is going to be a high of 42. And sunny all day forecast. A little cloudy tomorrow and Tuesday. Highs increasing to 45 and 46, respectively, but 27 now. Feels like 18, though. So perfect snowboarding and skiing weather here in New Mexico's capital city. And we could not be more delighted than to be here with you right now. And we've got Beth coming in to hey Beth, how are you? Beth, are you with us? Okay. Well, that's cool. We got you coming up on Facebook too. And Instagram. We'll be split screening, so everybody just bear with us, but stick with our social media. If you're watching us instead of listening on the radio, of course, you might be listening to the stream at santafe.com. And you can always add some video by just tuning in to Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. And Beth and I, you'll see our lovely faces as well. Beth, this week, Trump had the worst day of his presidency Friday. And this coming week only promises worse.
And he's the first president of the United States for this to ever happen, where he was directly accused, implicated of directing someone to commit a crime. And that seems to be the difference here. That in comparison to another time like that, like this in history with regard to like Nixon or someone like that. In this case, there's not a precedent for this. And so, yeah, he is going to have a bad week. And on top of that, we learned that he's firing Kelly. And, you know, that was coming, but this seems to just constantly be in a house of disarray. It is pretty common for, you know, presidencies to not go well. But, yeah, I just sort of, this is a mixed bag.
I mean, to say the least, it's a mixed bag. And, you know, there are other damaging stories coming out. You know, Roger Stone is seemingly doubling down on his whole commitment to solicit a pardon from Trump. And Trump, it seems, all too willing to oblige with his language. Trump, you know, but he's still living in delusion. His tweets, you know, anyone can go to Twitter and see them. But the most recent ones regarding the Mueller's activity after he released the Manafort filings on Friday. You know, Trump's only response, and Beth, this has been very consistent ever since this mess started. And Robert Mueller began to move on the subject or the people that kept popping up during this investigation. And people have gotten indicted, charges been filed, guilty pleas have been submitted, plea deals have been cut, convictions have occurred. Every step of the way, it doesn't matter what happens. I mean, Mueller could literally say, we have audio tape. We're filing this indictment because we have audio tape of Donald Trump ordering Michael Cohen to break the law. Donald Trump will then tweet, Mueller's latest filings completely exonerate the president. Completely clear Trump. What kind of are his cult members really so gullible that all he has to do is say the exact opposite of the truth and they just suck it right up? Of course, Mueller saying, Michael Cohen saying in open court that individual one is Donald Trump, and then Mueller recommending the Southern District of New York recommending a 3 to 5 year sentence. He says that because Cohen admitted lying to Congress, that completely exonerates him. He's completely ignoring all the other facts involved in the entire process. He'd rather do it this other weird way. And so it's about as hilarious as it can be. And Beth, I'd love to know what you make of him characterizing all this awful news that begins to lift the veil higher and higher to show just what a criminal he is and what a criminal enterprise he's been running. How on earth, Beth, how on earth could he possibly say this is good news for him and it completely clears him? Well, how is this possible?
So, Loveless, this is that I think that it's almost impossible to sort of have any kind of analysis about what's going on in his head over this. Obviously, he's panicking. His kids are in it deep as well. He's been implicated now in 2 crimes, and he's still on Twitter rampage this morning. This is him. On 245 occasions, former FBI Director James Comey told House investigators he didn't know, didn't recall, or couldn't remember a number of things that were asked. Open investigations on 4 Americans, didn't know who signed off and didn't know Christopher Steele. All lies.
Yeah. Again, he's just the whole thing is bizarre. It's bizarro world. It's bizarro
He's losing
world.
it. He's like doing everything he possibly could do to make weird explanations for himself and the family. And what's interesting too is like he seems to be more isolated and alone than I have ever seen him in his whole presidency. Like, you do not see his defenders except for maybe Sean Hannity and Fox News, but his staff is not handling this at all. Like, where's Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Where's Leone?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
He's totally flying silk.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I don't know how they're gonna. There's like a whole other vein of storytelling going on with Jared Kushner, because apparently he and his buddy, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, have been going back and forth on unsecured phone lines through WhatsApp for 2 years. I just don't know how this is sustainable, and I realize that we've been saying that for 2 years, but
Well, Beth, in reality, it's not sustainable for 2 years, and it not another 2. I don't believe. I'm for the first time starting to think that the Trump presidency may come to an end before. And who really needs to be worried, before we go to this next commercial break, Beth, who really needs to be worried more than anyone than Donald Trump, and that's kind of hard to say, because we know Trump should be maximized. His worry should be at a max. But what we do know is that Mike Pence, because now it's apparent that it's not going to go well for Pence at all, because Mueller's focus has started to turn, and we're learning now more specifically to a lot of the activities of the transition team, which Pence led and was the chair of. Nothing happened on the transition team without going through Pence. We know that. And so we know that now the noose is starting to tighten around Pence too. So for those of us who have had alarm related to this cult criminal enterprise that is running the White House right now, our wildest dreams just may indeed come true, as all of the lot of the whole bad barrel lot is completely swept out. We got to take a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about more about this investigation. Big bombshell story we're going to discuss. Donald Trump, even to this day, has had undocumented immigrants on his payrolls, and he treats them like dogs. They've come forward. Big blockbuster story in the New York Times. You got to hear these details, y'all. Also, of course,
hypocrisy, anyone?
Of course, Beth is also going to be telling someone who deserves it later on to shut the hell up. You want to make sure you're here for that. I'll be right behind her to tell someone else who deserves it to sit your ass down. And Beth, during our Red Pill reality check, we're going to have a check-in just to see how Donald Trump has been doing on his track record of bringing only the best people in with him to Washington. Oh, you can't wait to hear this Red Pill reality check, y'all. Stay tuned right here at 8:31. You're on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. And you are on Call to Reason. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint.
Okay, Beth.
I'm trying to pull you up on Instagram now.
Okay, yeah, join the Instagram. You sound good on Facebook. Is your internet seems you get a little sketchy every now and then.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
Me. I'm at my mom's house.
Oh wow. And North Carolina got some snow for real, right?
In Virginia, yeah, it's real outside, and so yeah, my internet is probably going to be a little bit sketchy. But
okay.
I think we're good now. But yeah, this is crazy town. I think we're going to get 9 inches, and I think I'm supposed to take the train home tomorrow morning. So my mom, we've got a ton of food though. We kind of celebrated our Thanksgiving, Christmas all at once.
Okay. So we got a couple minutes. Let's see if we can get you hooked in on Instagram while we're. Oh, there you go. So I got it. I see it. Okay, looks like we can bring you back here as well. And okay, here we go. All right, there you go again. Got you there. Okay, yeah.
18 Red Pill on Instagram and Facebook. Whew. All right, now we can concentrate on content and not technology.
Right. Let me plug in some headphones. I want to plug some headphones into my phone to keep it from echoing. I think I got a bit of an echo there, but I think I can fix that.
A ton of people who have joined us. I think people are really curious and want to hear our thoughts about what's happening with the president over the weekend. My friend Wayne Keith from Atlanta is watching. Gary Cox from Atlanta is watching. Sarah Edwards from Atlanta. Simona Muratore is watching from Atlanta, a good friend of mine. Amy Hepper-Tavio, awesome friend from Savannah who ran for Congress back in the day. Took one for the team.
Right.
Charlie Hazlett. Hey, Charlie, PR guru in the Atlanta area. It's good to see you. Mike Nickus, campaign consultant. Good to see you this morning. And of course, my mom is here watching.
Right.
Hey,
now,
Mom, Liz Whitaker.
Hey, if you're watching on Instagram, if you cannot hear me now, give a comment to that regard. I'm testing out the technology, so if you can hear me on Instagram, wave or do something to let me know you can. If you cannot, let me know that as well, because we're dealing with all our technical stuff right now.
All right. I'm going to continue. My friend Todd Wolfram from Charlotte, North Carolina is watching. Sally Bethay, the founding director. Alberto Bruni is watching. Good to see you, Alberto. And of course, James Washington, who is a regular commenter and listener and viewer of Called Reason, joined us this morning. He's got some good comments. Donald J. Trump is only concerned about maintaining the allegiance of the 30%. Amen, brother. And we're here for the 60+% who know what's going on in the world. My friend Gloria DeFaria is watching from Atlanta. Good to see you, Gloria. James Washington says we're headed into a serious constitutional crisis. Get ready. I think that's apparent. My mom says no train, yay. That means I'm staying in Virginia for a couple more days. Awesome. And my friend Cheryl Friend is watching from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Cheryl. And Melissa Lucia is watching. Mm-hmm. All right. Wow, we've got a good crew today, Loveless. I think everybody's curious about what's going to happen with regard to Trump, and I think James is 100% right. We're headed towards a constitutional crisis, and I think that post-midterm elections, we were all hoping and thinking that, well, now that the Democrats have taken over, we've said we want to see them govern as well as provide oversight, but to not go down a crazy train of accusations and impeachment. But now I don't think they have.
Here we go. Here we go, Beth.
All right.
I think we missed our cue. Because I had my headphones off. We're okay.
Good music selection.
Welcome back to Call the Reason, everyone. 8:37 a.m. right here on Santa Fe's News Talk Leader, Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC. 27 degrees right here. Feels like 18 on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. On our way to a high of 43 right here in the nation's in New Mexico's capital city. Beth, where do you want to jump back in here? We know that we've seen.
I think that we need to continue addressing this whole Mueller issue and as it applies to Congress, because as I was saying to our folks during the break,
right,
that what people are going to be watching now is Congress, because you and I have discussed on this show several times that we hope, as well as providing oversight and investigating, that Congress also governs and addresses the needs policy-wise for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this, Mueller is talking to the American people through his indictments and is telling the story. We've got Trump 100% implicated at saying that he directed someone to commit felonies. It's unprecedented. He's the first president that has ever happened with in the United States. So Congress is probably not going to have a choice but to address this with impeachment proceedings. I don't know how. I think it would be a failure on their part, particularly with regard to their duty to the United States of America, if they don't address it at this point. And, right now, the Washington Post is reporting that Republican anxiety is spiking as Trump faces the growing legal and political concerns. And even Nixon's former counsel is saying that Congress will have to start an impasse.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, these pundits are definitely, speculating about these things, but I honestly tend to agree. I just don't see how the Congress can do its duty and actually live the oath of office that it will take and not move to impeach this president. There's not just one document or two documents. There are several court records now that indicate he is the person that directed and therefore participated directly in these felonious criminal activities. And there's no amount of Republican spin and all shucking and everybody does it. There's none. You can't bring any of that to the table and expect for a court of law to respond favorably. Now you can have as many cult members who you have left in Congress and the Senate running all over the media and espousing these cult delusions. You can have that all you want. You can try to influence the court of public opinion from here until the cows come home. But what you can't do is convince juries and judges to agree and support that.
Yeah, let's not forget. Let's not forget when Manafort was going through his court, that one of the women on there was a Trump supporter, huge Trump fan.
Right.
And even she said that Manafort, even though Manafort was Trump's buddy and she supported Trump, she said he's not above the law. I do think that at some point people are just going to come to terms with that. Not everybody. There's always going to be, that 30% or the hardcore people that just think that the media and, the 60% of liberals have it in for.
Right. Yeah, no.
At the end of the day, I think that we're going to start seeing a serious break because there's just no way around this.
No, there isn't. And what's interesting is that we've got, Donald Trump, though, he renewed his call yesterday to end the federal probe in the Russian election meddling, describing the investigation as a witch hunt.
Yeah, he did.
A day after U.S. prosecutors detailed a previously unknown attempt by a Russian to help his 2016 presidential election campaign. Now, Beth, I'm confused about how Donald Trump is defining the word witch, because if he's defining the word witch as feloniously criminal people who keep getting caught up in Robert Mueller's web and indicted and proven and convicted of crime, then the coven is huge. And who knows how big the coven of witches will get, because, gosh, I have never seen a more effective hunt at actually capturing witches as this one in my life. I'm so sorry, but good grief.
Yeah, so what's so annoying about the referral to a witch hunt is that, yes, actually, Donald Trump, indeed, there was a time in the history of our country's founding when this has happened, and it actually happened to women who were part of that, who were innocent and part of that witch hunt back in the day. So the idea that you think that this is somehow uniquely happening to you, President Trump, is not the case. And secondly, there's this evidence, and he's got an audience of about 30 to 38% on any given day. All he is doing is trying to convince those folks to stick with them, and that's all he feels like he has to do. It's all he feels like he has to do to win. And not only that, if he keeps stirring them up and making them angry, he's hoping to incite them to, I don't know, he incites people to violence all the time. We saw that in Charlottesville. We saw that with the man who shot up that paper, the Gazette in Maryland. And he keeps on calling the press the enemy of the people. So the only reason why he's talking right now is to keep the 30-something% on his team and to point the finger at another enemy. And that's why we have this so-called caravan coverage leading up to the election and the border wall coverage even now where Trump is still obsessed with this border wall that no one wants.
Right.
And
well, Nancy Pelosi said that's off the table now for her. She's not going to go with a border wall. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. She's totally not doing it. She said so. I can tell you this, Beth. With him making statements like no collusion, everything Mueller says proves that we're innocent, nothing wrong with Trump. Crazy. Crazy indeed. We've got to take another short commercial break, though. But when we come back, we're going to run through some of the news of the week. Trump has announced that his chief of staff, John Kelly, is leaving by the end of the year. So he's got another couple weeks left on the job. He's appointed. He's nominating a new person to head to be the ambassador to the United States, to the United States ambassador to the United Nations, rather. I'm so sorry. And also, he is nominating William Barr to be the next Attorney General, former Attorney General William Barr, Donald Trump is nominating to be Attorney General again, and I'd like to discuss that pick as well. That seems like a pretty safe pick for him. And this is someone from one of the Bush administrations, so they're not likely to interfere with Robert Mueller whatsoever. And so we don't know who's directing these moves, but we'll find out more. We'll explore it when we come back. Beth and I are going to take a short break, and we hope that you will stick with us. We'll see you on the other side right here on Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. You're right here on Call to Reason, and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Newsenda has been a really great support in one of our anchor programs called Prosperity Kids. And Prosperity Kids is a two-generation program. We work with parents who really want to support their children and build for future investment or their college education. The Newsenda Community Rewards Program is really vital in making sure that we can continue that commitment to our community. Newsenda Credit Union Community Rewards. Checking that rewards you and your community. Federally insured by NCUA. Join us at newsenda.org.
Hi, this is James Callis, owner of James Callis Jewelers, and I have an offer for you. If you follow us and like us and share us on Instagram or Facebook, you can print a coupon for 50% off a single purchase store-wide. Excludes consignment and limited to showcase sales only December 1st
All right.
through 15th. This is a
We've
limited
got a couple more folks who joined us.
Okay, let's give some shout-outs.
Favorite family jeweler, 2801 Rodeo Road.
My friend Aixa Caldera is watching. Hi, Aixa. It's good to see you.
Welcome, welcome.
Kim Corsaro is.
Uh-oh.
Regular listeners is with us. My friend Marcia Devaney is watching us from Delaware. Dwayne Rankin is with us. My friend Tracy Bryant is with us. Good to see you, Tracy. And, my friend Sante Puma is watching. We were neighbors in Atlanta, but I believe she lives in Germany now. Welcome to Call to Reason, Sante. And
Nice.
James Washington says, too late to interfere. The goose is cooked. Indeed, James. And then when Congress takes office, the stuff will hit the fan. Robert Mueller has all he needs. And as soon as the new representative take their seats, he will present. I think that's right. I think Mueller is interested in engaging this new Congress rather than the old. And the old Congress is probably happy for them to take over as they've been abdicating their responsibility this whole time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
William E. says hello to everyone.
What's up, Brother William? I'm looking for this story that I put up about these workers.
One thing that we should mention and talk about on the show too, Loveless, is these protests happening in France.
If we can get to that, Beth, I will. But honestly, I've got 20 stories here that we need to talk about right here.
All right.
That are going on, including the one about his workers who. Damn it, I can't find the story now.
We posted a couple of them in the Call to Reason feed.
I'm looking for one
this
now.
This is the New York Times story.
Yes.
I'll find it and post it if you can't find it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the story about him having the people working at his hotel.
Oh, it's the one in New Jersey.
The golf resort. Here we go.
Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
I'm posting it now.
Okay.
In constant sorrow to his day. And the man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my day. I've bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised.
Welcome back to Call to Reason. You're right here with Loveless and Beth. 8:53 a.m. A beautiful sunny Sunday morning. 28 degrees here in Santa Fe, on our way to a high of 42 today. Should be a beautiful day. Hey, we want to remind everyone that if you want to reach us on social media, you can easily do so by finding us on Facebook. Loveless and Beth, we're both on Facebook, but our page is Call to Reason. Reality Talk Radio. That's our group. And our official page is simply Call to Reason. You can't miss us. You can also find us on Twitter. You can find us, I don't know what that whistling is, Beth, but it seems to be coming from
I don't either.
Yeah, so Twitter, Loveless in Beth. Loveless in Beth, you can find us there. You can also find us on Instagram at Call to Reason. Real easy to find. We're on YouTube as well, Call to Reason. You can watch us if you are not listening on Talk 1260 and 103.7 or at santafe.com. You can watch us on our social media and please interact with us there. Also, folks, great holiday season, and Call to Reason is here to help you get your word out and get and grab all those last-minute holiday sales coming from your business, especially if you've got online business. We've got a global audience here at Call to Reason. We can get the word out about you. All you got to do is email loveless@santafe.com. And I can tell you all about it, and we can get you signed up right away to get your business exposed as one of our sponsors right here on Call to Reason. So, Beth, before we go to commercial, I just want to touch on this one story that has broken and has been a really bane for Donald Trump. Beth, I'm not sure what you got going over there, but there's some kind of feedback.
I don't know either. I don't know if it's on my end or yours.
Yeah, it appears to be on your end, because we don't have anything in here that will make that kind of noise, but seems okay now. Beth just reshared a link, and the story is in the New York Times, and it is entitled, "Making President Trump's Bed, a Housekeeper Without Papers." It's a blockbuster story about the president's New Jersey golf course. An undocumented immigrant has worked as a maid since 2013, and she never imagined she would see such important people close up. Blockbuster story, Beth. Just amazing blockbuster story.
So the New York Times totally blew this one wide open. I don't think it surprises anyone at all that obviously undocumented workers work in the hospitality industry, and I don't think that this new one, because everybody knows that the hotels do this. Well, all of them do. They hire undocumented workers. So Sometimes they do it on purpose. Sometimes they do it unwittingly. Now, I think that what's particularly bad about this is that we have a president who consistently makes racist statements about undocumented workers, about people from everywhere south of the border. And it's just particularly egregiously hypocritical for the president to constantly be on this warpath against a group of people who are barely clothed and shoed, who are trying to legally come here through asylum to escape violence in their own countries. And for him to point his finger at them, make them the other, make his supporters hate them based on the fact that they are not from here and that they are brown. After doing all of that, only come to find that while he is upset about those folks coming over and getting jobs here, that he does the same damn thing himself.
Yep.
It's the hypocrisy
Yep.
of it.
Yep. And not only that,
Yeah.
the woman that is featured in the New York Times article still is on the payroll at Trump Bedminster, and she is not an aberration or an anomaly. She is one of many. She describes how she, a woman with only 2 years of education, who came to the United States speaking no English, had an unusual window into one of the president's favorite retreats. She's cleaned the president's villa while he watched television nearby. She stood on the sidelines when potential cabinet members were brought in for interviews and when the White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, arrived to confer with the president. And she's quoted as saying, "I never imagined as an immigrant from the countryside there will be such important people close up." Beth, we're headed into the news, y'all. We're going to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, Beth's going to tell somebody to shut the hell up. And I am going to tell somebody else who deserves it to sit your ass down. Y'all stay tuned to Call a Reason. The news is next, but we will be back. And we've got a lot more to discuss. And we look forward to seeing you then, so y'all stay tuned.
Don't forget to pray, 'cause there'll be hard times. Oh yeah, you know.
You're listening to Talk 1260 KTRC AM at 1037 K279 CX FM Santa Fe.
Loveless, I think that whistling was coming from the Instagram account, so I knocked myself off of it, and I just sent you another request if you want to pull me back to Instagram. But for whatever reason, that connection was not good. And I think that our internet here is a little shaky.
Okay. If it bumps you,
snow.
Oh, that's dumping.
Yeah, it's like, the wet snowman making snow.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love it, though.
It's beautiful.
Gotta love it.
Oh, I'm so bad, I didn't share.
Okay, yeah, I've been sharing and tagging, and I think I shared it on your timeline as well. Want to just say thank you to everyone who was here. Thank you, and thank you for sharing. Good to see you, Tamar. And
Brock Matthews from Atlanta also.
Mm-hmm.
Karen Harned.
Good. Hey, Karen. And we've got Heidi here with us on Instagram. We got a bunch of people. On Instagram as well.
Our sister Mar is on Instagram with us. That's awesome.
Nice.
My
Good to see everyone.
Friend is with us. My friend Enrico. Derek Gomez.
What's up, Brother D? Derek's my great next door neighbor. So glad to see everyone here with us. We are having a great time doing what we do. Beth, it just seems like these 2 hours go so quickly.
They do. It also seems like once we get cranked up on something then we have to go.
I know.
We'll be... No. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time today, Loveless and I do a live broadcast on Facebook and Instagram during the week called CTR on the Side, called A Reason on the Side. On Thursdays, we do our best to do a Thirsty Thursday edition where we drink bourbon and lament about the day's news, and so that's fun to tune into. We do it around 7 to or 8 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time, which is around 5 to 6 on Mountain Time. Excuse me, where Loveless is in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So look out for us and join us. And we can curse like nobody's business.
And you know, Beth really does. She ought to be ashamed of herself.
You're the one. Mother complains about you all the time. She's like, I can't share your CTRs on the side because they're curse word laden.
Uh-oh.
My aunt says I use the F word too much. Sorry, Aunt Jeannie. I don't know, but I have posted many times that that scientific study that shows that people who curse are super intelligent.
It's true.
I'm bought into that. I'm all in.
Well, it's as good a reason as any.
I don't know if you're not cursing during the Trump era. Maybe you've had a lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who are you going to tell to sit their ass down today, Loveless?
Roger Stone.
Well, that's a good one. I think I'm telling the Texas GOP to shut the hell up today. A couple of few choice members. But what is the GOP going to do? I think, what are they going to do?
I have no idea.
You know, and the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is that we had yet another congressional race bend to the Democrats, and so now we have 40 Democrats headed to Congress in January.
Yep. 40. Here we go.
Reality is now.
All right.
Open your mind to Santa Fe's non-GMO, purely organic source of common sense. This is Call to Reason with your host, Loveless Johnson III, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Whatever you want, my heart I'll give you gladly. Whatever you want, I'm love to keep you laughing. Whatever you want, if you want my love, just ask me. Whatever you want, I know I'd make you happy. I've been trying to tell you that my heart.
Welcome back to Call to Reason, everyone. 9:06 right here from a beautiful KTRC studio. Talk 1260 and 103.7 Santa Fe's News Talk leader. and a beautiful morning right here in New Mexico's capital city. We've got 30 degrees on our way to a high of 42. So it'll be above freezing here shortly, and that's going to be nice. Beth, let's just jump right back in. We know that President Trump is employing undocumented immigrants. We know that he treats them pretty poorly. And we advise everyone who hasn't to just Google the story. It's all over the internet right now. And it's simply entitled, it's a story by the New York Times, Making President Trump's Bed. A Housekeeper Without Papers, written by Miriam Jordan. The story was published on December 6th. Blockbuster story on Thursday. Beth, I think this might be a good time for us to do a quick red pill reality check.
Let's do it.
And just see what we can run down for folks, because there's just so much going on right now that I don't think folks are aware of, because there's been this constant distraction of Mueller, Trump, Trump, and I don't know that we've heard about all the other things that are going on that Americans need to be very, very aware of. For example, farmers still taking it in the shorts. Nebraska alone reports over $1 billion lost this year of revenue for their farmers just in the state of Nebraska, and they attribute it directly to the Trump tariff policy that has driven away the Chinese market. Pretty much 94% of sales of soybeans and other crops from America have not been sold this year because of Trump's tariff policies. He has not developed new markets to replace the markets that he destroyed. He did not replace the markets he destroyed with new markets. And so farmers are suffering, and the cracks in the armor are starting to show.
Yeah, well, we have food rotting on docks. That's the other thing, is just the abject waste of what has happened due to these tariffs on the farmers and these goods that we would normally be selling to China, and nothing is being done. We have our own. We have plenty of people who can't afford food that we could be feeding here, but I don't know. The idea of all of that food going to waste that is not being sold to China, it makes me crazy. And people labored over that food. There was water that was used to create that food. That waste is a crime. It just is.
Yeah.
What do we? I don't know what we do about that, but it's too late for most of it because it's gone. And now, in addition to all of this waste and environmental toll being taken growing this food, now it's just going to go to waste. And now the farmers can't sell it, and now their farms are going under in Nebraska, not just Nebraska, but elsewhere too.
Mm-hmm. No, it's quite a blow to farmers. It's quite a blow to it's just a blow. I don't know how else to say it.
What happens, because certainly in Nebraska it's like one of the reddest of red states. What happens to those voters now when their farms are going under and all of the jobs that are associated with those farms go away? Then what?
Good question. And I honestly don't know. They're going to move to the city, I guess. I mean, this is just beginning. this whole come to this reckoning with reality is just beginning, Beth. And the farmers are okay. They survived 1 year, some. Although we have seen farm bankruptcies at levels that were occurring during at the beginning of the Bush recession, during the Bush created recession. We haven't seen farm bankruptcies and farm foreclosures as high since then. So we know that Trump's policies are definitely having an impact that reach people, and that's something we have to see. If are we going to go through another summer of this? Because the stock market, as we know, another red pill reality check, had a big downturn this week. Yet again, we've had the 4 largest single crashes, or the 4 largest single day of losses in Wall Street history have all happened in 2018 under Donald Trump. And his policies are radically affecting the market. So that's another red pill reality check that I think deserves.
And in relation, Loveless, to the deficit, we had that bailout for the farmers, and it wasn't enough, and the farmers are still filing bankruptcy.
Right. Yeah, they're still filing bankruptcy.
All of that money, and now they still are going away and still can't afford to keep their farms up. That's scary to me.
Yeah. No, it's very scary to a lot of folks. And think about how the farmers are feeling. So again, red pill reality check. Jared Kushner defended Saudi Crown Prince after Khashoggi's death and has kept chatting in text messages with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman via WhatsApp all along. Even after the revelations have occurred, he's remained buddy and chummy. So we know that the Trump administration's cover-up of the cover-up continues. But I know that the Congress is going to have a lot to say about the official United States response, since Donald Trump refuses to offer one. Even the Republicans in the Senate are determined that they will be held accountable for this. Red pill reality check. A lobbyist working on behalf of the Saudi government has purchased an estimated 500 rooms at President Trump's D.C. hotel in the months following his election. So during the transition and since, over 500 rooms purchased by the Saudi government. And that's just that one property. And now in other places, attorneys general are now beginning to seek to subpoena the records of the Trump properties in affected places, because lo and behold, attorneys general now have discovered that one of the most primary clauses and laws governing the presidency to protect our government, to protect our freedom, to protect our democracy from the corrupt influence of foreign governments, there's something called the Emoluments Clause. And apparently the Emoluments Clause has been violated multiple times by the Trump administration, and attorneys general around the country, Maryland and the District of Columbia to start, but I hear Florida Attorney General is about to get involved in some stuff. They're going to find that there has been criminal activity, blatant violations of this Emoluments Clause this entire time, and yet another just complete ridiculous assertion.
Well, we had an update about that case earlier in the month, where the Justice Department is planning an unusual appeal to stop the governments of Maryland and D.C. from using a federal lawsuit to demand access to information about whether or not Trump was using his luxury Washington hotel unconstitutionally. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for our listeners too.
Red pill reality check before the commercial break. Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's luxury resort in Florida, received $17 million in hurricane relief funding for non-existent hurricane damage. And now there is an IG report into perhaps fraudulent acceptance of federal relief funding by President Trump's Mar-a-Lago to the tune of $17 million. Red pill reality check, folks. Lost jobs, shrinking growth, and rotting crops. All the ways Trump's trade war is hurting America. And the stock market is down. So just a few.
And he's getting money from the federal government for hurricane damage that doesn't exist.
That does not exist. Just a few little tidbits from your weekly red pill reality check. We're going to take another short break, and when we come back, Beth is going to tell someone, and we know we can't wait. She's going to tell someone who deserves it, y'all, to shut the hell up. And I, for one, simply can't wait. Beth, you want to give us a hint about who it might be?
It's going to be a Lone Star State kind of shut the hell
up. A Lone Star State kind of shut the hell up. Well, I tell you what, y'all. Y'all stay tuned right here to Call the Reason. You're on Talk 1260 and 1037 KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader, and Beth and me will be right back.
I'm mad. Got to get back. I need some get back. Pay back.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint. Here on K.
All righty, everyone. We're a little bit late on the commercials to this segment, but we will catch up. So, Beth, who's gonna shut the hell up?
So today, I'll just go ahead and give it away. Two people from the Republican Party apparatus in Texas. One is County Precinct Chairwoman Dory O'Brien, and the other is Ray Myers, a member who wrote on Facebook, quote, "Damn right,
I'm a white nationalist
and damn proud."
Yeah. Yep, I saw that.
So, yeah, we're gonna have to tell those folks to shut the hell up, and quite frankly, the GOP needs to stand up and say something. And some of, to be fair, some of them have. The view of George W. Bush, and I think the son of Jeb Bush, who is the land commissioner, George P. Bush, did condemn these statements, but I think that we need a little something more than that. And not only that, but this is a continuation, Loveless, of the conversation we've been having about George Herbert Walker Bush's death, the impact that the so-called Southern strategy has had on the electoral process in the United States. It was particularly organized for the presidential elections, but it certainly trickled down to other races, one of which you and I were a part of when North Carolina, where you and I met. And this racism that the part that's really bubbling to the surface in a very public way with the party. I don't know why people are surprised by this when essentially your big strategy since the late 60s and the early 70s has been a big fat racist dog whistle and just a more polite way of being racist by talking about crime and drugs, black men raping white women, and like the case with Willie Horton, which was a PAC ad to help support George Herbert Walker Bush. I really don't know what people expected after 3 decades of dog whistling. And to me, I mean, this is just the path that they elected to tread upon, and the fact that we're here now with the Proud Boys, with those folks in Charlottesville, and now with these jokers over here in Texas, why is anyone surprised? And isn't it just logical that we would find ourselves in this position where people feel 100% justified, emboldened to just be 100% flat out racist in a bold
Here we go
way?
Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Beth, can you hop back on Instagram too?
I can. It wouldn't let me earlier, but let's
If it makes that noise, then hop off.
All right. This music is awesome.
Welcome back to Call to Reason, everyone. 9:24 a.m. on our way to the bottom of the hour. But before we take that next commercial break, it is going to be time for Beth to tell somebody who deserves it to shut the hell up. Right here from the studios of Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. Beth, before you crush this next victim, I just want to remind everyone it's 30 degrees here, on our way to a high of 42. And if you want to be on our show, promote your nonprofit organization, put your issues out here, feel free to send me an email. Loveless, Lovelless, at santafe.com. It's just that easy. If you want to be on the show, just send us that email and we'll process that and see exactly what we can do to make you a part of this wonderful discussion. Beth, who is the lucky winner this week?
And just to put this in context for everyone, we've been discussing, Loveless and I, since the death of President George Herbert Walker Bush, just about while we admire his service in the Second World War, of course, and no one can take away his heroics, but we're still pointing out some of the overt racist things that happened in order for him to get elected. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But one of the stories that I posted this week was an op-ed from the Dallas Morning News. And in it, they discuss how that the Texas GOP has a racism problem in Tarrant County in Texas, that they want to oust the county party vice chair, Shahid Shafi, who happens to be a trauma surgeon and a member of the South Lake City Council there in Texas. The county precinct chairwoman there, Dory O'Brien, claims he supports Sharia law, and with no evidence, it says that he is tied to terrorist groups. The Dallas Morning News editorial board, who is a conservative editorial board, and they have made some changes or decisions in terms of endorsements. For instance, they endorsed Hillary over Trump, and the board has kind of positioned sort of perhaps a never Trump organization or Trump opinion group, or at least for that election, that's how they felt, and how important it is to put country over one's party. And in this op-ed, they go on to say that this is the path of political and moral failure. The Republican Party is better than this. I'm just going to say that they're really not. In addition to this woman, Dory O'Brien, they also have this guy, Ray Myers, who is a member of the permanent platform committee for the state GOP, who posted last week, "Damn right, I'm a white nationalist and damn proud of it." Folks, 3 decades campaign on a racist dog whistle about crime, about drugs, about black men raping white women, as was the case in the Willie Horton ad against Michael Dukakis that a PAC did to support George Herbert Walker Bush in 1988. You cannot construct a strategy, dog whistling, that is your strategy to win elections for 3 solid decades and not expect that this is what's going to ultimately end up happening to your party.
That's right.
Because dog whistles work. They work. And when you finally get to a president that just says, we're not going to have dog whistles anymore, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to be racist. And why is anybody surprised? And why does the Dallas Morning News editorial board want to say, this is not who the Republican Party is? I'm sorry, that's exactly who you've been for 3 decades. If you implemented the Southern strategy, you are those amoral and you are moral and political failure.
It's actually coming up on 5 decades.
You cannot sugarcoat that, Loveless.
No, you can't. It's coming up on 5 decades, though. For Southern Strategy, it was over 40 years ago when that got started.
Yes, you're right. 40 years. And so, Dory O'Brien and this Ray Myers, they can shut the hell up. But until we don't have people running for governor like that jackass in Florida, until we don't have that, until we don't have a Brian Kemp who is suppressing black voters, until we don't have that anymore, until people stop implementing the Southern strategy, really the GOP just needs to shut the hell up. And that's all I have to say about that. You're responsible for it all.
I completely agree, Beth. And what a wonderful set of choices. What a wonderful set of choices to shut the hell up this week. When I read that article, I was floored. At what they were saying. And this guy he this is what Trump has done. He's emboldened folk. We're going to take another short commercial break, but I'm going to give you one more Red Pill reality check.
Let's have it.
Donald Trump has rolled back all of the school lunch rules that put refined grains and low-fat chocolate milk back on the menu. All the things that Michelle Obama did to create healthier meals for our children, some of whom is the only healthy meal they get in a day. Donald Trump has rolled back that progress. I never thought it was a president's job should be to try to roll back the progress of all other presidents before them. I thought a president's job was to build on the progress of previous administrations, to keep making the country move forward and a better place to be. Donald Trump is doing the exact opposite of that.
Why do you have to shaft the kids to do it? That's my question.
That's the type, yeah.
If you really want to put down a president's legacy, why shaft kids?
I don't know. I don't know. We're going to take another short commercial break. 9:31 right here in the capital city of Santa Fe. and 30 degrees. On our way to a high of 42. You all stay tuned. Beth and I will be back right after this commercial break. And I will be here to tell somebody who deserves it to sit your ass down. Y'all stay tuned right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC. We'll be right back.
I've been told you can't be sold. He's not vicious or malicious, just lovely and delicious. I couldn't ask for another.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Rio Grande School's early childhood program brings learning to life.
Okay, everyone. Great segment, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is, oh my gosh. It's like a blizzard here, Loveless. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it's crazy town.
It looks like whiteout conditions.
It's totally blizzard style. You know, living in Atlanta for 21 years, and you just don't, I still am not used to it. Even though I live up north in Jersey City now, I'm still not used to, like, hardcore winter weather. I bought this, like, big, thick sweater, and all my clothes were, like, bulky, and when I pack to go somewhere, it's like I can fit 3 things in my suitcase. It's just, I don't know. It's different. My
That's
mom
cool.
says it's crazy town for sure. She's already ready for spring. We haven't even got.
Okay.
I had a few folks join us, Loveless.
Great. Who we got?
A good friend of mine, Wesley Dunn, is watching. Ben Smith is watching from Atlanta. My friend Rika Squires is watching from London. Hey, Rika. Kelia Chemo is watching. My good friend from Atlanta that I knew from Group Chancha. Good to see you. Zach McCain. Hey, Zach. And Michael Waldrop from Atlanta. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about our technical difficulties earlier, but we got it together. Loveless is about to, if you just joined us, when we return on air, Loveless is about to tell one. I feel like, though, Loveless, we could just have a permanent segment every week telling Roger Stone or Trump to sit their ass down and shut the hell up. I feel like that we could just do it every week. In addition to an add-on.
Oh, I agree totally, Beth. I agree with you.
And one thing we haven't really talked about is this new anti-Muslim person from Fox News who apparently is going to be our new U.S. ambassador to the UN.
Yeah, we're going to definitely.
Earlier, but
we're definitely going to jump into that.
Ask her she's going to be. I'm someone who is biased and prejudiced against Muslim people who represent a huge segment of people of religious faith in the world. How does she become a UN ambassador?
Who knows? She's got good connections.
Or she's
Here we go.
happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on. I ain't happy. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine in a bag. I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on.
Welcome back to Call to Reason. Welcome back to Call to Reason, everybody. You're right here with Loveless and Beth. It is 9:37. Beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Gosh, it's beautiful here today. 30 degrees on our way to a high of 42. Should be a fabulous day. And Beth, it's come to that time of the show where someone who deserves it has to sit their ass down. It's time to sit your ass down. And I thought I was going to do Roger Stone today, Beth. But I think instead I'm switching gears because I've heard enough rhetoric. I've heard enough propaganda. I've heard enough BS this week from one Donald Trump that I have got to make a few points and then offer him an invitation. First of all, I'd like to remind everyone that Donald Trump said that he would only bring the best people available, the best people around, the best people there are. He would bring into the administration, and he would drain the swamp in the process. Well, folks, unfortunately, that's not quite how it has worked out. Let's take a moment and listen to some of the propaganda that he espoused, some of the promises he made when he said that he would clear up the swamp, drain the swamp, and put some great people in. Beth, that's what he said. Isn't that what he said?
He did.
That's what he said.
Several times.
Several times. So here we go. Here's
Best people.
In fact, if you don't believe me, listen to him. Listen to him yourself, y'all.
Mostly.
I wonder what.
We're gonna get the best people in the world, he said. And I got to replay that one more time because I think it's worth him. Let's make sure everybody hears let's make sure everybody hears what he had to say. I want him to hear it again, Beth.
We're going to make America great again. We're going to use our best people.
I'm going to get the best people.
We're going to deliver. We're going to get the best people in the world.
Once again, Tom Price, Scott Pruitt, Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen. Should I go on? We've hardly had the best people in this administration, folks. And now Trump has the illusion that if it weren't for the Mueller investigation, his approval rating would be 75%. He thinks that he's done a good enough job that his approval rating would be 75%. And he keeps pointing to this one lonesome Rasmussen poll that shows him at 50%, when everyone else showing him at 40 or below, including Gallup showing 60% disapproval. In the wake of Mueller releasing a memo this week detailing the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's extensive cooperation with the investigators, and now he's filed similar documents related to Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort. Some legal observers have speculated that the developments signal the investigation is moving closer and closer to Trump's inner circle. And Trump, his response is to say that Mueller is guilty of presidential harassment. I quote, "With the phony Russia witch hunt And with all we have accomplished in the last almost 2 years, tax and regulation cuts, judges, military, vets, etc., and I can't believe he's even using the word military or veterans in his with his record, just this Veterans Day with his record. My approval rating would be at 75% rather than the 50% just reported by Rasmussen, Trump's tweeted. He also said it was total presidential harassment. I can say that, you know, most of us have just about had enough now of Donald Trump's incessant lies, of his complete delusions. And I believe that most of the country would love to, if they had the opportunity, to look Donald Trump in the eye and simply say, sit your ass down. Because you have worn out your welcome. You've worn out your welcome in this country as our president. You've worn out your welcome around the world as the leader of this country. And Donald Trump, sit your ass down. Your goose is so cooked that it's actually might be burning. You might want to go check it. Because Mueller has got you dead to rights. He's got your kids dead to rights. He's got Pence and all your transition team folk dead to rights. He's still, and to this day, folks, haven't heard a peep. Haven't heard the name Allen Weisselberg, the fully immunized witness who has been speaking to both the Southern District of New York's attorney's office and to the Mueller investigative team. You've not heard the word Allen Weisselberg, because he is immunized. He won't be pleading guilty. He won't be getting indicted. He won't be getting convicted. He is the one person that's part of this whole investigative process that has been free to speak freely, and we have to know. No immunization deal would have been made possible unless the prosecutors already had a great sneak peek at what his true value would be as a witness. And so I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, Donald Trump, you sit your ass down, because you're going to need all the rest you can get. And secondly, to the American people, to the loyal listeners and Team Red Pill, call the reason. The next time you hear the name Allen Weisselberg, it'll be in the context of someone absolutely going to jail. When you hear that name, Allen Weisselberg, reemerge, that means that every single ounce of information that could possibly have been gleaned that's going to put Donald J. Trump and everyone below him inside his inner circle in prison. You mark my words. When you hear that name, Allen Weisselberg, again, it'll be because the jig is up. All the information is now on the table, and we know exactly who's going to be going to jail. And I guarantee you, folks, that list is going to be long. You mark my words now. I haven't been wrong about much. And I guarantee you I won't miss the mark here. We've got to take another short commercial break. And then, unfortunately, it's going to be time for us to take it on into Meet the Press. Beth, where do these 2 hours go?
I don't know. They fly by, and then what always happens is that they fly by, and then I'll see something that I'm like, oh, we should have mentioned that on air.
Right.
That was a great sit your ass down, by the way, Loveless.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Beth. Hey, listen, we're going to have to take another short commercial break, y'all. 9:46 right here, Talk 1260 and 103.7, KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. 32 degrees. We're finally freezing here in Santa Fe, on our way to a high of 42 today. And actually, it just bumped up a little bit to 33. So now we're above freezing. You all stay tuned to Call the Reason. Beth and I will be right back.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Okay, y'all. Final commercial break.
Hi, this is Elisa.
We got a couple more shout outs. My friend Peter Story from New York is watching, and William, he had a couple comments saying that Trump could have 75% approval if he enacted liberal policies. The tax cut for the middle class might have done it. Agreed. Then he goes on to say Steve Bannon talked about changing the tax system, only filing a postcard in April. Yeah, what happened to that? Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too, that there's this whole thing, promises kept, and there's no wall.
La Boca offers an exceptional blend of locally grown foods along with the finest Spanish.
We're likely going to see, you know, the stock market is now more volatile than it has been for 8 years under Barack Obama's leadership. What honestly?
It's a musical holiday here at the Candyman Strings and Things.
I don't know.
You're breaking up pretty bad there, Beth.
The Muslim ban didn't stick, so there's no Muslim ban. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good now. Yeah. Promises made, promises kept is a very select group of things right now.
Well, the Muslim ban didn't stick. There's still no border wall. No middle class tax cut. Everybody saw that was a sham.
The trade policy has resulted in the largest. We now have crossed over into the largest trade deficit ever. The trade deficit has grown in the face of his tariff policies that have hurt and destroyed this year's farm economy in the nation. He destroyed this year's farm economy with the promise of getting a fair deal for America and ending these trade deficits, and the result has been the actual opposite. Our trade deficits have grown to record levels, in particular with China. So we've lost that battle bad, and of course, real Americans are the ones that are paying for the loss.
Just tuning in, a couple more shout-outs. Real O'Brien from Richmond, Virginia. Good to see you, friend. We became friends when I was working on Jack Trammell's campaign. And my aunt, Brigitte Boer, tuning in from Ohio, Howard, Ohio. Good to see y'all this morning.
Nice. All right, here we go, y'all. We got about another minute. Got about another minute, and then we're going in for the final.
Who's going to be your winner this week? I have a good one.
My winner, I have winners, and it's all the attorneys general that are jumping on to this emoluments case and are going to prove that the president has been breaking that law blatantly this whole time as well, and he's been running a big criminal enterprise to put money in his pocket, leveraging the office of the presidency to do so. This emoluments thing is serious business, and Trump's done such a good job at softening the market with his cult members, such that they all really do have a complete hatred now for the rule of law, while they claim to be all about enforcing the law when it comes to immigrants. But otherwise, they don't give a shit about no law.
Political enemies.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on
Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand.
We're due for another karaoke session, I think.
baby.
Baby, kiss me. Hey, Beth, you know the Palace, they closed down.
Fill my heart with song.
Yeah, they're gone.
What
Welcome
are you
back to
gonna
Call
do
the
karaoke
Reason.
now?
I have no idea. Welcome back to Call the Reason, everybody. You're right here with Loveless and Beth, and we are wrapping it up, heading on into Meet the Press, coming up at the top of the hour. But before we give way, we always talk about who are our winners and winners for the week. And Beth, who, I know you got one, at least one. Who is your winner?
It's a happy one. So the AJC reporting that a parade is planned for 10 a.m. on Monday to celebrate Atlanta United winning the MLS Cup on Saturday. Woohoo!
ATL.
Go Atlanta United. That's so awesome.
Another championship for Atlanta to go along with the 1995 Atlanta Braves. Still my team, the greatest one ever to win that World Series for Atlanta. Now we've got a soccer world champion or soccer league champion. MLS, the Major League Soccer of America. Now the Atlanta United on top.
Atlanta United. They defeated Portland 2-0 at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium behind the goals of Joseph Martinez and Franco Escobar. Guys, afraid Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is going to be joining them, and you deserve all of those accolades. Way to go.
Great job, y'all. Great job, y'all. My winners are the attorneys general who have been seeking to get to the bottom of what's really going on with this, the president's businesses. For a while now, a lot of folks have been very concerned that we are going to have a conflict of interest, that there was a potential for a conflict of interest there with Donald Trump and his businesses. And lo and behold, you know, as signs have been pointing to having that happen, a lot of the attorneys general in the D.C. area, ones in Maryland and District of Columbia in particular, have won the ability to now subpoena and begin discovery of the Trump organization as they seek to establish whether or not there has been direct violations of the emoluments clause. Folks, this is very serious business. This means, in case you don't know what emoluments clause means, it means that you can't be the president of the United States and line your pockets with money from foreign governments while you're serving as president. That is actually against the law. And we know now that the Saudis have been going overboard, spending as much money as they can on Donald Trump and other foreign governments as well now. So these attorneys general are about to get to the bottom of that and really clearly define just how egregiously these laws have been broken. And so they are my winners because they are also going to participate in exposing the criminal enterprise known as Trump's White House. I cannot wait for that. So they're my winners.
I have a question for you, Loveless.
Yes,
Do you think it's possible for Congress to refuse to continue to let Trump lease that hotel space in D.C. from the U.S. government? Because he's
I think it's possible.
Building. It's not his.
I think it's possible, and I think it's also possible that, as I've said many times before, Donald Trump will be the first U.S. president to leave the podium, assuming he even goes to the inauguration of the next president in 2021. Assuming he does attend the inauguration of his successor, he won't be hopping on Marine One to fly off into the sunset and say goodbye. He's going to be walking out of the back door in handcuffs. Because if he's not indicted while he's sitting as president, I guarantee you he will not only be indicted, but he will be arrested when his presidency is over. it's as sure as the sky is blue and the sun is shining right now at 9:56 a.m. in Santa Fe, I can guarantee you that's exactly what's going to happen, folks. And I know the cult members hate it. I know y'all are mad. I know y'all, want to try to figure out a way to rationalize this away. But just like most Republican pundits are saying now, Trump simply cannot tweet away the rule of law. He cannot tweet away the facts of what's happening. And his tweets won't, at the end of the day, keep him or anybody else out of jail. Not at all, folks. So if you're hoping Donald Trump can tweet this whole thing away, I'm sad to report he won't be able to do it. So anyway, those are my winners. You have Beth winners. Beth, you got any other red pill reality checks or any other little things you want to discuss before we go? We're going to be taking off here in just a moment, actually.
Just keeping an eye on this UN pick, Heather Nauert, who once cited D-Day in long history of U.S.-German relations. Now she's headed to the UN. She's done several gaffes. She's retweeted complete hate, anti-Muslim organization information out, and I think we're going to have to keep a close eye on her and how she's going to be representing the country. She's certainly not going to be able to fill in the shoes of Nikki Haley, who, even though we've always, she still at least represented our country with a shred of dignity. So
we'll see.
Keep an eye on that.
We will. All right, folks, we got to go. It is 9:58, coming up on 9:59, and this is our time. Y'all stay tuned for Meet the Press, and make sure you tune in for us again next Sunday morning, 8 to 10, right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader. We'll see you during the week. Podcasting, Call the Reasons, CTR on the side. You can find us on social media, and we'll make sure you do. Until next week, we love you, and we will see you again next Sunday.
Team Red Pill.
Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Yeah.
KTRC AM at 103.7 K279 CX FM Santa Fe and streaming live at santafe.com.
This Sunday, sex lies and the Russia connection. Federal prosecutors say
All right, everyone. Thank you again for being here with us. We have had a great time again. I know I have. Beth, how about you? Yeah, this was a great...
Same here. I've had a fantastic time with everyone today. And we had some really great viewers, lots of folks that I haven't seen in a long time from my Charlotte days, so that was super nice. We've got a couple of more folks who joined us. Donna Friend from Virginia, Congressional District 7, who has a new congresswoman there who replaced Dave Bratt. That was pretty awesome. So congratulations to my friends over there in the Richmond area in Congressional District 7. Nichelle Jeffrey Conger just joined us and said lock them up. We'll get a lot of agreement from you there on this show, my friend. And what else have we got? We've also got James Washington saying no telling what Robert Mueller has found in the sewer. We're in agreement with you. And William Nee says goodbye, Loveless and Beth. Another great show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
James.
Hey, everyone, if you haven't, Google Alan Weisselberg. I'm telling you, all this stuff, like we've just been getting teased. We've just been getting titillized with little tidbits. But I'm telling you, when that name Alan Weisselberg starts popping up again in the media, that will only mean that the Canary has completed the song and Mueller is now ready to conduct the orchestra that will play the tune that leads all these bitches down the aisle to prison. I'm telling you, man. When you hear that name, Alan Weisselberg, again, you'll know that the investigation is done and that it's time to start locking their asses up. I guarantee you that, because he is a protected, immunized witness. He also happens to be the chief financial officer of the Trump organization, has been since Donna's daddy, Fred, was running it. He's been with Trump's for 45 years. And just like that movie, The Untouchable, once you grab Al Capone's money, man, goddamn case closed, deal, game, set, match for the prosecution. I just can't imagine. And I'm telling you, you watch how Donald Trump reacts when that name Alan Weisselberg pops up again. He might have a heart attack and die, I swear, because he won't be able to tweet a damn word against Alan Weisselberg, who was working for him when he was a baby, when he was a little young man. His dad, he worked for his dad. So you just never know, folks. You just never know. Anyway, we'll see you again. We're going to podcast this week. We'll definitely put out a notice. Y'all stay tuned. Look out for that. And, of course...
I'll probably be podcasting from here in Virginia again if this doesn't let up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We're going to have a white Christmas early. So enjoy. And listen, everyone, thank you all again for being here. Hit the share button if you haven't on the way out. Just let everyone know that they can watch it too. It's archived everywhere, especially when you share. So thank you again, and we'll see you again soon, y'all. Peace.
Bye, Team Red Pill.
And thank everyone here again on YouTube. See you as well. You're always the last to sign out, but we love you, and we'll see you soon. Peace.